link to a new treatment program that will soon open in Oklahoma.
And the program is called Narcanon New Life, and officials in the town of Newkirk say it appears Narcanon may try to recruit people into the Church of Scientology. Narcanon plans to open next month at the old Chilocco Indian School. That's about 3 miles from the town of Newkirk. Mayor says he's worried about his town getting a cult image.
Well, 5 Alive's Larry Blood has been working on this story for months, and he joins us now with the first part of his exclusive series. Larry?
Jerry and Jane, this is a story that's drawing national attention. Just last month, the New York Times ran an article saying that people in Newkirk, Oklahoma thought Narcanon would help ease the local economy. But the article says now there is distrust, frustration, and fear. Only last week, the city of Newkirk sent this packet of information to Governor Bellman and several Oklahoma congressmen. Now, on the cover letter, which you see here, it is signed by Newkirk Mayor Gary Bilger. It says, based on this information, it appears Narcanon's primary objective is getting people to join Scientology and not drug abuse treatment. We went to Chilocco and to Scientology headquarters in Los Angeles to find out.
Chilocco was built as a school for Indians more than 100 years ago. Ivy lines the walls of buildings that haven't been used in years. Chilocco may be beautiful and historical, but it hasn't been very profitable for the 5 tribes who own it.
The facilities here at Chilocco haven't been in use since 1980. When they open up in September, it'll be open under the name of Narcanon New Life. But there are many people that are concerned that a lot more will be happening here than just drug rehabilitation.
The brochure says Narcanon's Chilocco Center will offer the highly successful drug rehabilitation methods of the highly acclaimed writer and researcher L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard is best known for writing the book Dianetics, a book that spawned a new religion called Scientology. He died in 1986. Hannah Whitfield was his personal aide for 6 years. She rose to the rank of Deputy Commodore and captained one of Hubbard's ships. She finally left Scientology after 20 years.
He was a brilliant man. In his madness, he was a brilliant man. And he realized, I think, from very early on, from the late 40s, when he mentioned casually to a friend, if you want to make $1 million, start your own religion. This is documented. He realized that if he could get under the veil of the First Amendment, religious rights, then behind that, as a front shield, with ministers and pastors and confessionals and so forth, one can do pretty much anything.
Recall a time you were mean to somebody. Recall a time somebody was mean to you.
Scientologists use this device called an e-meter to uproot deep-seated psychological problems. It's like a lie detector. A Scientologist called an auditor asks intimate questions. In sessions like this, a Scientologist pays thousands of dollars to get rid of thetans. Those are spiritual beings that control our behavior. Scientologists spend years to finally learn a high-level sacred secret of the church that we're about to tell you now. But I have to warn you, Scientologists believe that if you're not prepared for what you're about to hear, you could catch pneumonia. Here's the secret. 75 million years ago, there was the ruler of the Galactic Federation. His name was Xenu. Xenu had an overpopulation problem, so to fix it, he had beings gathered up from various planets and dropped into volcanoes on Earth. H-bombs were dropped into the volcanoes, causing spiritual beings called thetans to be spewed out. Scientologists believe we all have thetans in us.
Through various electronic means, he collected the spirits or thetans together. They stuck to one another and formed clusters or bunches, and they were then implanted, meaning they were made to watch, forced to watch 36 days of continual movies, which contained pictures of things like God, devil, heaven, hell, cherubs, angels, and anything and everything that comprises our modern-day society, giving the impression that what they received at that time in that implant is what we are dramatizing in our society today. We are reliving those implants in our society today.
Jerry and Hannah Whitfield are former Scientologists. Jerry is also a former high-level Narcanon staff member. They're suing the Church of Scientology for fraud.
We were run completely by Scientologists, and we did exactly what the Scientologists told us to do. I mean, we paid a minimum of 20% of our gross income each week went to Scientology.
I was not being allowed.
This former high-level Scientologist, like the Whitfields, is suing Scientology. But unlike the Whitfields, he doesn't want to be identified.
I have been declared a suppressive person by Scientology. What that means is I am fair game. Anything that is done to me by a Scientologist is just A-okay.
Is Narcanon tied to Scientology?
There is a relationship in that the Church of Scientology has supported Narcanon in its anti-drug war. But so has other churches, so have youth groups, so has boys clubs. So in that respect, yeah, the Church of Scientology has supported us because they want people off the drugs just as bad as we do.
But isn't Narcanon really made up of almost entirely Scientologists? You yourself are a Scientologist, are you not?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Everyone here is Scientologist, right? These two?
Yeah. There's a lot of staff in Narcanon that aren't Scientologists. I mean, that's not mandatory at all. And Narcanon's got very specific board policy that the staff and counselors of Narcanon are not allowed to let any personal beliefs get in the way of their professional responsibilities.
Hollywood, California is headquarters for the Church of Scientology and for Narcanon. We went there to learn more about the possible connection between the two. We went there under the threat of a lawsuit. An attorney from a Hollywood law firm called 5 Alive the day before we left for Los Angeles. He called to tell us there was no need for us to come to Los Angeles because we had already been told the truth back in Oklahoma. That same day, Gary Smith of Narconon on Chilocco called to tell us that he was concerned of some possible legal problems that we might have with the Church of Scientology if we aired a report about allegations of possible ties between Narcanon and the Church of Scientology. At the Scientology complex in Los Angeles, we hope to learn more about Scientology from current members. Instead, Scientologist Linda Goodman of Public Relations accused me of being a criminal reporter who is attacking Narcanon.
There are some concerns that have been raised in Oklahoma. We're trying to address those concerns.
And the only
We've
people
said that
I know who would attack a group like Narcanon who gets kids off drugs are those that would be interested in proliferating drugs. So
what are you saying? Are you saying that I'm for drugs?
You can take that exact, well, you're certainly not assisting someone who's working towards getting people off drugs.
Shortly after that exchange, a Scientology bus loaded with young people dressed in black pulled up. They jogged into the Scientology complex. A recent defector of Scientology told me they were from the church's rehabilitation project force. They were found to be a problem and needed an attitude adjustment. Mark Jones is a former Scientologist and ex-president of Narcanon USA. He says Narcanon was ultimately controlled by the Church of Scientology.
They did control how it spent its money. In other words, they oversaw the financial expenditures, but there wasn't any interplay at my time and money between the two.
Is Narcanon important to the Church of Scientology as a public image maker?
Very
is that
much
what it
so,
is?
yes.
More so than a recruiting tool?
I don't think it is important as a recruiting tool. I don't think it has ever been very important in that respect.
You don't have to get into Scientology if you're in Narcanon, but you will certainly be encouraged to do so.
Bottom line is I mean, what's wrong with wanting to get people off of drugs? I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, and some people might think that you're not just getting people off drugs. Some people might think you are going to use this to try to recruit people into what many people have called a cult.
It's not a cult, and we wouldn't have been around for 23 years doing what we do if it was.
Yeah, several of the buildings were in very good shape, and there was a strategy to picking this building in that it was in very good condition.
Narcanon was given a certificate of need by the State Health Planning Commission. That gives them the go-ahead to open a 75-bed treatment center. The question that remains is, will that go-ahead result in people being lured into Scientology? Larry Blunt, 5 Alive News tonight. Narcanon also plans to go to Oklahoma's schools and businesses to conduct drug education. Tomorrow, we'll look at the methods used by Narcanon in its drug treatment program, methods that were developed by the founder L. Ron Hubbard.